What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Matt DIY. So today we're going to be working on the 2006 Ford Focus, and we're actually going to be going around and just kind of creating a parts list, right? Taking an initial look at it, seeing what it needs, and I like to break it into three categories: body, maintenance, and the mechanical, right? So body is going to be the damages from the accident, maintenance, things like spark plugs, fuel filters, air filters, stuff like that. And then your mechanicals as a suspension, brakes, all that good stuff. So we're going to go around the car, show you guys what I check for. All right, guys. So the first thing I do before I even take the wheels off is I do a bearing check. And this is relatively easy to do. All you're going to do is grab onto a tire, like this one here, and try to wiggle it back and forth. And you can see this one's really tight. It moves just a tad, but that's actually going to be in the steering, not the wheel itself. So as long as it isn't moving a lot back and forth, and it's probably easier to do with two hands, you're good to go. And you can check the up and down too, and just try to wiggle it. But this one's really tight, so we don't have any bearing issues here. I'm gonna check one of the backs just to show you that. So again, grab on the side, try to wiggle it. Nope, real tight. All right, so we don't have any bearing issues. Definitely gonna need some tires. These are almost shot, but that's all you do. Just wiggle it back and forth, side to side. If it doesn't wiggle much, you're good. If there's a lot of play there, might need ball joints or bearings. But in this case, we're nice and tight, so we're good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and take all four wheels off, and then we'll get back to you to show you what I'm looking for in the suspension and things like that. All right, guys, so let's start with the mechanical. So we're over here, we got the front right wheel off, and I'm gonna show you a few things. We know the bearing and the ball joint are okay. So normally I'll go to the brakes next. And if you see here, there's a lot of brake pad left on the front. But the interesting thing is if you go to the back, I can get you in there. This part right here is the pad. This inner part is the pad touching the rotor there. You can kind of see, and there's not a ton there. Would it pass inspection? Probably. But since I'm doing so much work to this car to get it roadworthy, I'm just going to go ahead and do a rotor and pad job on the front. Pretty easy to do. Rotor comes right off. Pads are really easy to service. Won't take no time at all. So we're going to go ahead and swap that out. So we'll just count for the front, rotors and pads, get that out of the way. Now, typically, if I do something on one side, I'm going to do it on the other, just so that they're in unison. So because I saw that this rotor and pad needs replaced, I'm going to do it on both sides. And I shouldn't say it needs replaced, but it's getting close, so I'm just going to go ahead and take care of it. Brake lines, they are seemingly okay, in really good condition. Be a little stiff, but not bad, no holes or any issues like that. The metal brake line seems fine as well. Yeah, that all seems good. Okay. Coming over here to the sway bar. Now, the sway bar is just that little piece that connects the larger sway bar portion. I should call it a sway bar link. Connects the sway bar to the actual strut. And if I grab onto the sway bar link, you can see how easy that is to turn with my hands. That needs replaced. So we're going to need sway bar links on the front. And then to check the tie rod, same deal. If you can put your hand on here and twist this, it probably needs replaced. This one doesn't move, but we're going to replace it because of something I found on the other side, which I'll show you guys in a minute. And the last piece is just the control arm. And that's the piece right here that holds everything together. And you're just going to want to look at the bushings. Make sure there's no cracks or anything in there, which is good there. Here you can see the bushing's in good shape. And then under here, where the ball joint connects, you can see that that's in good shape too. Even though this car is a 2006, somebody took care of it. So it's really not in bad shape at all. So far we got sway bars, tie rods, and a rotor and pad on that side. And on this side, there's a little bit of hidden damage. So we're good as far as we already went over the brakes. Same deal with the sway bar here. It's really loose, so we're gonna replace it. And the control arm here as well is looking just fine. No cracks in the rubber, things like that. And we can even get under here, take a look at the ball joint and see that it's in pretty good shape too. So that's all looking good. However, as you can see here, I'm not sure what happened exactly, but as a result of the accident, I'm guessing this tie rod got demolished, completely destroyed and bent, and it doesn't appear like it hurt anything on the steering rack itself because luckily ball joints are flexible. So somehow it just bent the heck out of it coming out here where it connects to the wheel. So we're going to go ahead and replace tie rods on both sides. So that's the front portion: sway bars, rotor and pads, and tie rods. And typically, if your rotor doesn't have a lip on it, you probably can just do pads. But because I don't know when these were put on, and I do feel a little lip on the back, I'm going to go ahead and do rotors and pads on the front just to take care of them. And then, believe it or not, guys, if you come to the back, this really needs nothing, except you can even see that the emergency brake cable here seems to be all right, and it's all connected. And the brake hose seems pretty good as well. Bad news is back here, I actually don't have the proper socket to get this drum off. It takes a 30mm, so I can't actually check the drum brakes. So I'm going to order the 30mm socket, and I'll get this off on a different time and check it out and see if the brakes back here need replaced. I'm going to guess that they don't, because it probably was already serviced once around 50,000 miles, but who knows? So we're going to check that out. And then just make sure, like, your other supporting materials, just make sure the other rear control arms and things are nice and tight. I don't see any issues with these or the rubber involved with them. They seem to be all right as well, and I can't really twist them or anything, so I think we're good there. So back here, all we might need is some brakes, some brake pads. I just can't see for sure if that's going to be the case. And the strut looks okay too. A little bit of, actually that's not leakage. Yeah, we're good. She's all good to go. All right, that's about it in the back. Alrighty folks, so that is the exact check that I do for the wearable items in the maintenance. So just go through and check like that. So I know I need brakes, I know I need sway bar links and tie rods on the front. In the rear, I might need brakes, but I can't see it because I don't have a socket to get in there. So that's about it as far as the mechanical items, as far as wearable mechanical items. So let's go ahead and check the body. Now, the car only took impact up front here. So basically, as you can see, the front bumper is done. So it definitely needs a front bumper. It definitely needs a front fender. There's no fixing this guy here. So those two things for sure. As far as the inner wheel well, it looks like it could use a wheel liner on this side. This one's not in terrible shape, but it's also cracked pretty good there. So I think I'm probably going to go ahead and get a new wheel liner for this side. Easy to replace. And then as far as the actual parts over here, it looks like the air tube isn't cracked, but the air filter is definitely gone. And these were lifetime air filters on these cars, so I'm actually going to swap this out with a replaceable air filter that should bolt up fairly easily in here. Just trying to see. Okay, it connects right over there. Yeah, so that's definitely done. So we'll replace the air box as well. And okay, so airbox, bumper, fender, wheel liner, headlight. I think I'm going to need a headlight too, but let's go ahead and pop the hood and just take a look at what we got there. Go ahead and put the hood up. Alrighty, so hood's up and out of the way. Looking down in here, so this is all pretty good, rad support and everything. The headlight, I don't think it actually cracked it. really hard to see. Yeah, it did crack the rubber kind of surround around the headlight there and pushed it out. Yeah, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and get a new set of headlights. Pretty cheap for this car. I think it's like 80 bucks for the set. So I'll just go ahead and get a new set and slide those in. That'll make it look really nice. Grill and everything's okay. Again, this bumper's coming off. The fog lights, however, those, well, one's gone. The other one has seen better days, so I'll probably go ahead and grab a couple fog lights too. But as far as body, that's it. It's just fender, inner fender, liner, and then the bumper, air box, couple of headlights, and the front end will be back together. And letting you guys in on a little secret, I already sourced a front bumper and a fender from local junkyards, so I'm gonna be a-okay there as well. So that's pretty cool. So that's about it for the body. And then as far as maintenance, when working on one of these cars, I always like to make sure that everything's done on it and it's just good to drive for a while. So I'm going to go ahead and do the maintenance items as well. So I'm going to do the 4 spark plugs, oil change, transmission fluid change. I already mentioned the air filter. The battery's good on this one. And then I may go ahead and swap out the serpentine belt as well, although it doesn't look bad. I'll zoom in on the belt and see what it looks like and see if it needs it. It doesn't look too bad, but I may go ahead and do that too, just so it has a new belt. And then everything will be nice and serviced on this. And then here is the transmission dipstick. I didn't even notice this before. But let's go ahead and take a look at what the fluid looks like. And it dang looks pretty good. It's pretty red. So that's good to see. So I'm going to go ahead and change it anyway, just in case, because I didn't see anything on the Carfax that it was changed. But again, this is only at 70,000 miles, so it, you know, it's not too bad. But yeah, just your general maintenance items. And then with all of that, I'll get all that stuff ordered, and we'll go ahead and get started on this thing, probably with this front body area, just getting everything taken off and disassembled. Take out the headlights, just take everything off. And then when we get the new parts, we can go ahead and start the reassembly. Alrighty folks, hope you enjoyed the overview there, looking through the car, seeing what it needs so I can order the parts and get ready to start working on this thing. That's kind of how I do it. You just take it one step at a time, look at all the parts for wear, see what I can see. You know, and occasionally, once in a while, I may miss something, but the garage who does the inspection will pick up on it and they'll take care of it. But yeah, you just want to go over it kind of with a fine-tooth comb, see what it may need, make it back to OEM specs again, and this darn duck. And you should be good to go. So that's about it, guys. If you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it and if it helped you out in determining if you need to replace certain parts on your car. And subscribe to the channel if you want to see the rest of this project and if you enjoy automotive projects like this, guys. Until next time, always get out there, do it yourself.